Well, greetings and salutations, people. The good Bishop Lamor Whitehead, he is requesting that a federal judge sentence him to supervised release. This is what he's requesting, and my question to you is: do you think his request will be granted? Um, so we're gonna get into this. I was looking at Pacer. Let me just bring up Pacer. There's the good bishop right there. And I'm going to just read a little bit from Pacer. And I'm pretty sure some of you already know this already, but this is the first time that I'm covering it. And so it says here, let's get into it. Now it says relief sought. Okay. And let's see, let's go to the relief sought. So it says defendant Lamor Whitehead by and through his attorney of record, Dawn M. Florio, Esquire, pursuant to 18 U.S. 3553A, hereby respectfully submit this memorandum requesting the court sentence Mr. Whitehead to a non-guideline sentence of supervised release, which is justified by the circumstances and factors to be considered, and is sufficient but not greater than the necessary to comply with the purposes of sentencing. What do you guys think? You think the judge would do this? Now, this memorandum is respectfully submitted on behalf of our client, Lamor Whitehead, who is scheduled for sentencing on June 17, 2024 at 10 a.m. Provided herein is pertinent background and legal argument for the honor's consideration in determining the appropriate sentence. Now, Lamor Whitehead was arrested on December 19th, 2022, and released on a $500,000 personal recognizance bond. On March 7th, 2023, Mr. Whitehead was charged in a 5-count superseding indictment. Count 1 of the indictment charged Mr. Whitehead with making material misrepresentations to victim 1 in order to obtain $90,000 from her in violation of 18 U.S. 1343. Count 2 charged Mr. Whitehead with making material misrepresentations to victim 2 in interstate communications in an attempt to convince victim 2 to transfer money or property to him in violation of 18 U.S. 1343 and 1349. Court 3 charged Mr. Whitehead with using threats to force to attempt to obtain $5,000 from a business owned by victim 2 in violation of 18 U.S. 1951. Court 4 charged Mr. Whitehead with stating to federal law enforcement that he only owned one cell phone when he knew that he owned another cell phone in violation of 18 USC 1001. Count 5 charged Mr. Whitehead with making material misrepresentations through interstate wires in order to attempt to obtain $250,000 business loan in violation of 18 USC 1343. Now, it says the defendant appeared before the Honorable Catherine H. Parker, magistrate judge, and pled not guilty to the superseding indictment S1 on March 17, 2023. On February 26, 2024, a jury trial commenced before the Honorable Lorna G. Schofield, district judge. The trial concluded on March 11, 2024, with a conviction on all counts. Probation calculated the offense as 31 and the criminal history category of 2. The guideline range at this level is 121 to 151 months of imprisonment. So let me stop there for a minute. So 121. So it says the guideline range at this level is 121 to 151 months. Let's see here. So let's see. Let me just do something real quick. Let's just do um so let me just he's facing a minimum of 9 years. Okay, so the guideline range for this level is 121 to 151 months. All right, so let's go. So he's looking at 9.5 years. That's what he's looking at minimum, a minimum of 9.5 years. All right, so remember 9.5 years. 9.5 years. All right, hold on. Let me just do something real quick. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. So he's looking at 9.5 years. I'm trying to see if there's any other, if they're saying any other thing in this document here, because I'm trying to see. Let's see. Let's see. He's looking at 9.5 years to 13. Let's just go with that to 12. Let's say 12. He's looking at 9.5 years to, let's see. Hold on a second. Let's say he's looking at 9.5 years to about 13, 12 and a half to 13 years. That's a pretty long time, folks. So they already, his lawyers had put that in his document. But I do know that for every whatever serve, you get time shaved off or something like that. So he's looking at the minimum of 9 years. So I'm thinking that maybe he's looking at, let's see, he's a repeat offender. So the judge could sentence him all the way up to 151 months. I don't know, man. So he's looking at right now, he's looking at 9 years. Okay, that's what he's looking at, or more. 9.5 years or more of imprisonment. Probation group with count 1 and count 2, count 4 and count 5 into group 1 and count 3 into group 2. Probation recommended a below guideline sentence of 90 months for count 1, count 2, count 3, and count 5, and 60 months for count 4 to run concurrently, resulting in a total sentence of 90 months. Okay. Okay, so he may get 90 months. I don't know. He may get the 90 months. But I'm gonna come back to that. In accordance with Supreme Court's decision in the United States versus Booker 543 US 220 2005, and the Second Circuit's decision in United States versus Perez 397 F.3D 103 parentheses 2D Circuit 2005. The sentence court must consider all of the factors identified in 18 USC 3553, including a advisory sentence guidelines established by the United States Sentencing Commission. Those factors in relevant part, the nature of the circumstances of the offense and the history of the characteristics of the defendant, the need for the sentence imposed to reflect the seriousness of the offense, to promote respect for the law, and to provide just punishment for the offense, to afford adequate deterrence to criminal conduct, to protect the public from further crimes by the defendant, and to provide the defendant with needed education or vocational training, medical care, or other correctional treatment in the most effective manner. The kinds of sentences available, the kinds of sentences and sentencing range established for the applicable category of the defendant as set forth in the guidelines. Any pertinent policy statement issued by the Sentencing Commission, the need to avoid unwarranted sentencing disparities among defendants with similar records who have been found guilty of similar conduct, the need to provide restitution to any victims of the offense. A sentencing court is permitted to find all facts appropriate for determining a sentence, whether or not that sentence falls within the guidelines. In United States versus Booker, the Supreme Court held that mandatory sentencing guidelines system violated the Sixth Amendment pursuant to Booker remedial opinion, and further explained in the subsequent Supreme Court cases. The sentencing court is to apply the factions that sets forth in 18 USC 3553A, Section 355A, and modified by Booker contains the overarching provisions instructing district courts to impose sentencing sufficient but not greater than the necessary to accomplish the traditional goals of sentencing. Let's see what else is going on here. They're just citing laws now. All right. +6. Connect one bank 1,000. What else? I'm just looking at here. It says calculations of the guideline range. The offense level as calculated by the probation is incorrect. The most reasonable calculation of the offense level is laid out below. As the first matter, we do agree with probation grouping analysis pursuant to USSG and 3D 1.2D. Counts 1, 2, and 5 are grouped for guideline calculation purposes because the offense level is determined largely on the basis of the total amount of harm or loss, the quantity of the sentence involved, and some other measure to aggregate the harm. Pursuant to USSG 3D 1.2, C, count 4 is grouped with counts 1, 2, and 5. Counts 1, 2, and 4, and 5 compromise group 1 because the guideline for count 3 is USSG 2B.3 guideline is excluded. But anyway, they're just arguing that they're arguing his sentencing guidelines because the federal government, they have sentencing guidelines, and it also some of this stuff is determined, I had said before, on prior acts, things like that, the nature of the crime, when was the last time he was in trouble, like what was the gap between that. There's a lot of points there, and everything will be calculated, and the judge will have a minimum and maximum guidelines to work with. But I'm thinking they're trying to request that the judge sentence him under the guidelines and sentence him to probation because these charges require him to do some time here. So I don't know, man. I honestly think the judge is going to sentence him on the high end because he has prior acts of something similar, not quite similar, but something similar. And so, yeah, he's facing more than a decade behind prison. It's not life though, like we covered in the Nature Boy case. What else is saying here? Okay, so it says criminal history category because remember, I had just said before the criminal history plays a part as well. In the sentencing guidelines, the judge will look at do the defendant have a criminal history? What is the criminal history? And also, how long has this been? All right, so it says here criminal history category C. The defense concurs that under the guidelines, Mr. Whitehead has a criminal history category of 2 with 3 criminal history points from 2006 Suffolk County case for identity theft. Mr. Whitehead was convicted after a trial. However, he has always maintained his innocence and that he was wrongfully convicted. He's saying again that he's wrongfully convicted in this case. Mr. Whitehead challenged those convictions as well as the sentencing on appeal. Mr. Whitehead's sentence was reduced as a result of these appeals, as the court imposed an illegal sentence. The sentence reduction resulted in Mr. Whitehead being released from prison before the rest of his appeals could be completed. Were these appeals to have been completed and successful by Mr. Whitehead would have been fully exonerated. So they're arguing that if he had went through his appeals, it's a possibility that this would have been wiped out. He would have been exonerated. So don't take too heavily on his prior bad acts, I guess. Probation mentions that this case involved as many as 57 victims. However, that is not accurate. The case involved less than 10 victims. However, there were numerous, hold on a second, let me go back. Again. Probation mentions this case involved as many as 57 victims. I said 57, right? All right. But check this out. However, that is not accurate. The case involved less than 10 victims, but it still had victims there with an S, plural. It says, however, there were numerous duplicious or lesser included counts as to each victim. Okay, 23 of those counts, listen guys, 23 of those counts were dismissed before trial, and Mr. Whitehead was acquitted of 17 of the remaining 34 counts. Okay, so he was acquitted of 17 of the remaining 34 counts. So they just want to make sure that the judge know that for sentencing guidelines. That's what I'm trying to make sense of. While this conviction is counted for 3 criminal history points, 3 criminal history points under the guidelines, it should be noted that this case involved conduct that is close to 20 years old, quite remote in time. Okay, let's stop there. So they're saying that this case involves conduct less than, let me look again. Close to 20 years old. So they're trying to say that there's been a huge gap from when he committed these crimes until now. So remember I said before, the judge will take everything in consideration. Did he have any prior bad acts, any prior convictions? If so, how long was those convictions? What was the gap between those convictions with this crime? That will be taken into consideration as well. The judge said, okay, it's been over 20 years since you committed your last crime. They might take that in consideration, like I said before. So the lawyer did note that in the documents here. So I just wanted to point that out. That's what I was looking for. And also they went on to say, we urge the court to look towards the American Bar Association shadow guidelines in this case, an alternative approach to the guidelines as they relate to financial or white-collar crimes. The current guidelines are unjust and result in exorbitant guideline calculations. In fact, as stated in Rise of ABA Task Force Shadow Sentencing Guidelines, published in Volume 255, number 64 of the New York Law Journal, then the chair of the United States Sentencing Commission, the Honorable Patty B. Saris, effectively conceded that the guidelines are fundamentally broken in high loss cases. In this case, the high loss amount results in an increase of 18 levels. The comparison if a defendant in a kidnapping case sexually exploited their victim, the offense level would only increase by 6 levels. the USSG 2A4.1 parentheses B parentheses 5. The intended loss amount calculated by probation of 7,285, excuse me, 7.285 million is considered more aggravating under the guidelines than a kidnapper who sexually assaulted their victim. This issue becomes especially clear if the instant case where the actual loss amount is $85,000. So they're saying that, look, it's 85,000. It's not like he went out and did something crazy, like I had just mentioned, extreme. But I'm still thinking, guys, he's gonna be sentenced on the mid to the high end. I really do think so. But we'll see. We would urge this court to look towards the Bar Association approach to sentencing in white-collar crimes, which is often the shadow guidelines as the Federal District Court of the Eastern District of New York did in the United States v. Fabish, where the defendant was convicted of the conspiracy to commit bank securities fraud, and making false statements to the Security Exchange Commission. In Fabish, the district court, considering those alternate models by applying common sense, the court finds that strict application of the existing guidelines derived from existing loss table in this case would unfairly balloon Fabish sentencing range beyond any reasonable proportion to his crimes. At sentencing on March 10, 2016, the court stated that, like a whole host of judges who have said so publicly, and scores of others who have grumbled about it privately, let's see, the guidelines, even with its slight revisions, are just mindlessly accelerated. Once you have numbers of any size added in the loss or gain table, sentencing transcript, United States v. Fabish. So basically what his lawyers are saying, that take in consideration that the number is $85,000 here. It's not like he went out and physically or extremely did something to someone. This is involving $80,000 loss. And, take that in consideration when you're considering sentencing him. I don't know if that's going to work. What do you guys think? You guys listening right now, do you guys think that's going to work? On June 17th, I believe they said June 17th, he's going to be sentenced and back at me in this federal court here in New York City. Think I might go to that. I'm thinking I might go. I might go. I'm thinking I might go to his sentencing. What do you guys think? You think I should go? I think I might do that. I know Pam Esquire goes, so I may see her there, and I probably get there early. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to that. Let me think. Let me look at my calendar really quickly, see what I got going on. Let's look at my calendar. So I believe that's on a Monday. June 17th. June 17th. That's week after next. I could stand and go up there for one day. That's right after Father's Day too. He's getting sentenced. Isn't that crazy? Right after Father's Day. I think it's Father's Day on the 16th. Interesting. I'm just looking at my calendar really quickly because I think I might go to the sentencing and then report and go live outside of the federal courtroom. I don't think you could bring cell phones in there. I might have to leave it in the car. But then afterwards, I'll come out and go live, or maybe I get to talk to Pam Esquire. Maybe I'll get an interview with her and we'll see. I'm pretty sure she might be there. It's only a hot skip and a jump for me. I just drive up there. Yeah, I think I might go to the sentencing, folks, and then I will see right then and there what the judge is saying. I'll go there with my notebook and everything, and yeah, see what the judge is saying. So let's get back to this. I'm not gonna read too much more. What else we have here? Yeah, so they're just arguing why the sentencing guidelines are not correct. Now, look at this, what they say here: history and character of the defendant. Lamor Whitehead is 46 years old man and was born in Brooklyn, New York. He has completed high school diploma and some college. All right, remember this. He has completed some high school diploma. He completed his high school diploma and some college. Mr. Whitehead has additionally completed his studies in theology and is an ordained pastor. Okay. In 2022, Mr. Whitehead received 2 honorary Doctor of Philosophy degrees. Okay. One in theological studies and one in business management, real estate from Harvest Christian University. Mr. Whitehead is legally married to Aisha Whitehead and has 3 biological children, in addition to helping raise Mrs. Whitehead's daughter from a prior marriage. Prior to his incarceration, Mr. Whitehead was the presiding bishop of Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry in Brooklyn, New York, and holds the rank of chief apostle. He holds the rank of chief apostle. Don't y'all laugh. Lamor Whitehead was born to Arthur Miller and Faith Patricia Whitehead in 1978. Faith Whitehead is 73 years old and lives in New Jersey. She is retired and previously worked for New York City Department of Education as a school bus driver and administrative staff. Arthur Miller owned a construction company and worked as a community activist until he was tragically killed by the New York City Police Department in June 1978. So he was really small. He didn't even know his father. His father died in June of 1978 when Lamor Whitehead was just 6 weeks old. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Reports from the time stated that Arthur Miller was attacked and beaten by 16 police officers, one of whom choked him to death with a nightstick. Arthur Miller was a beloved activist in his community who had founded the 4 Block Association, a group that received federal grant to hire local residents as a trained neighborhood watch. Current New York City Mayor Eric Adams stated in 2020 that Mr. Miller's death really started the tidal wave of energy around the Black activism. In 2014, then Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams declared an Arthur Miller Day in Brooklyn to celebrate Mr. Whitehead's father as he works in the community. It should be noted that statistically, when Lamor Whitehead lost his father, he became 279% more likely to carry a gun and twice as likely to end up in prison. Okay. So since his father died at an early age, he was 279% more likely to carry a gun and twice as likely to end up in prison. All right. Lamor Whitehead has 3 maternal siblings. Has 3 maternal half siblings. Chrisone Anderson, age 56, resides in New Jersey and is a registered nurse. Derek Whitehead, age 40, resides in Springfield and owns a juice bar. Dwayne Whitehead died in 1981 at the age of 10 when he was crushed by a truck while playing in the junkyard. Mr. Whitehead has a number of paternal half siblings. Um, Lamor Whitehead has 2 children from a prior relationship with Aisha Mapp. Jaden L. Whitehead is 16 years old and is a high school student on the varsity basketball team. And Soraya Whitehead is 9 years old and is a student. She is additionally enrolled in dance school. In 2019, Lamor Whitehead married Aisha Whitehead. Um, they have one child together. Although they have one child together, 2-year-old Brooklyn Whitehead. Additionally, Mr. Whitehead helped raise Mrs. Whitehead, child from a prior relationship, 16-year-old Heaven Dosrees. Heaven has graduated early from high school and plans on going to college. This case comes at a time in his children's social and emotional development where they are particularly in need of their father. Well, let me just stop there for a second. Um, people don't often think about their kids' critical development when they go out and commit crimes. I wonder if people would think, if I commit this crime, I might possibly be away from my kids for an incredible amount of time. Let me just think about before I do this crime today. Um, I may put myself in jeopardy to where I'm not going to be able to see my kids for almost a decade. Is it worth doing a crime? Nobody thinks that way. Nobody thinks that way. All right. So, yes, they are in an emotional development where they are particularly in need of their father, but he should have thought of that. And I'm not trying to say that to diss him, but he should have thought of that. Lamor Whitehead grew up in a poor household in Crown Heights, a rough neighborhood. Without his father, Lamor's mother did the best she could to support the family, but they needed public assistance programs and food stamps just to get by. Lamor Whitehead's neighborhood was quite rough when he was growing up. Even from a young age, it was common to see violence and crime occurring around you. Lamor Whitehead's maternal grandmother, Mary Whitehead, was an integral part of his upbringing. Lamor's grandmother, who he described as his best friend, passed away in December 2023 at the age of 108. Lamor's uncles, Robert Whitehead and Lavelle Cochran, were important figures in his life, both military veterans. They did their best to instill a sense of discipline and to fill a void left by his father's tragic, senseless murder at the hands of the NYPD. While Lamor Whitehead never got to know his father, he did inherit his love for Brooklyn and his community. Organizing outreach efforts through his church, Mr. Whitehead was one of the first faith leaders to become involved with the NYPD ceasefire program, which seeks to reach out to individuals at high risk of being victims or perpetrators of violence to help keep young New Yorkers safe while avoiding criminal charges. Also known as Group Violence Intervention, GVI, the program ceasefires is an evidence-based approach to reducing violence. A core part of that outreach is community members with moral authority delivering a credible message against violence through face-to-face meetings. Individuals such as Mr. Whitehead are essential to the three-pronged approach to ceasefire uses and and the reductions in violence that have been followed the implementation of these programs. Mr. Whitehead worked with the ceasefire through Brooklyn, including in the 75, 77, and 79, the 75th, 77th, and 79th precincts, police services area, PSA, Bushwick and Marcy projects to help keep Brooklyn and Brooklynites safe. He additionally worked on gun buyback programs and numerous other community initiatives. These include the 2014 A Night of Worship to Save Our Youth rally at the Barclays Center. Um, the before and after makers of the teens' domestic violence victims and battered to beautifuls, a domestic violence survivors event hosted at Brooklyn Borough Hall with the Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. In September 2023, Mr. Whitehead and his church spent $25,000 on buying school supplies for the less fortunate children. Around Thanksgiving of 2022, Mr. Whitehead and his church helped those in need in the Bronx, going to grocery stores in a poor area and paying for everyone's Thanksgiving dinner meal, donating over $20,000. Mr. Whitehead and his church have done similar acts on Thanksgiving and during turkey giveaways so everyone can have a turkey dinner for Thanksgiving. And around Christmas, buying toys for poor children so that they can wake up to a present from Santa Claus under the excuse me, under the okay, under the tree. I know it's not funny, but under the tree of Christmas morning. Videos on YouTube and Facebook document a number of these events, including a 2014 toy giveaway at PS 191 and a 2022 back to school giveaway at Cookies, a 2013 Leaders of Tomorrow turkey giveaway. His speech, Battered to Beautiful, and more. Lamor Whitehead has additionally created a number of initiatives to offer children mentoring opportunities and the ability to look at potential future employment. He began one initiative that partnered with restaurants to help keep children by teaching them to cook once home economics courses were removed from most school curriculums. He began another with the NYPD to help children foster positive relationships with the police to end the cycle of violence. He yet was done, excuse me. Yet another was done with hospitals to allow children to shadow medical professionals and doctors to help inspire them to pursue careers in medicine. Another brought kids to tapping on the Black Entertainment Television Network and 106 in Park, a music show to allow children to be exposed to opportunities that can exist in the entertainment industry as well. Mr. Whitehead graduated from Sheepshead Bay High School, where he was a star point guard on the basketball team. After graduating from high school, Mr. Whitehead attended Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina on a basketball scholarship. Shaw University was the second historically Black college and university, HBCU, established in the southern United States. In 1998, Mr. Whitehead transferred to Eastern New Mexico University in Portales, New Mexico, also on a basketball scholarship. Mr. Whitehead left ENMU when he injured his knee and transferred to Farmingdale State College in New York, again on a basketball scholarship. Mr. Whitehead ceased his studies at Farmingdale after an on-campus incident, where he was attacked with a knife, suffering serious injuries. While incarcerated on a case out of Suffolk County, Mr. Whitehead, who had always been a man of faith, dedicated his life to being a man of God, completing the Rising Hope Theology Seminary. When he was released, Mr. Whitehead founded the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry with a goal of building a modern church community that helps to do good works in the community. Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry seeks to bridge the gap between the church, youth, politics, and the justice system. Numerous judges in Manhattan and Brooklyn have allowed individuals who have community service as a part of a sentence or diversionary program to complete that community service at Mr. Whitehead's church to avoid jail time. Mr. Whitehead has additionally donated money and time to a number of homeless and battered women's shelters throughout Brooklyn and has had his church outreach and charity programs at those shelters. Mr. Whitehead additionally gained enough signatures to get one ballot in the 2021 primary for Brooklyn Borough President. Lamor Whitehead is a licensed New York State chaplain and certified marriage and funeral officiant. He was first ordained as a minister in 2006 by Bishop Albert Jameson of Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. In 2014, Mr. Whitehead was ordained as a pastor and bishop. Mr. Whitehead has founded his church, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry in 2013 with a group of 43 who were meeting for a Bible study. Mr. Whitehead felt that he had the ability to help people obtain spiritual liberty, educational development and economic awareness while pursuing positive changes in their life. Mr. Whitehead focused on helping his congregants to empower themselves. Okay. Oh my God, I'm done. Oh my God, this is like wooing me to sleep. Oh my God. I mean, this goes on and on, folks. I could be reading for the rest of the day. It says Mr. Whitehead has a scar on his neck and hold up, he has a scar from his neck to his abdomen as a result of being cut when an individual attacked him when he attended Farmingdale State College. The slash required 100 stitches. Wow. Interesting. Man, the cut is from his neck to his abdomen. That's a pretty significant cut there. All right. So what do you guys think? They really writing a lot about him here, to maybe consider the judge to like, listen, this guy has did a lot of good more than he did bad. He did more good than he did bad. He probably did, but at the end of the day, he was convicted of swindling somebody out of their money. It's 60 to 80 some $1,000. When he did that, they said that he went out and purchased things with that lady's hard-earned money. That's not good. He need to think about that. What about her? What about her money? How is she gonna get her money back? That's that lady hard-earned money that she worked hard for. She's retired, and now it's all gone just for you to go out and splurge with it. So that requires some time. Man. But I don't know if he's going to get sentenced all the way on the high end. He might, though. He might. I know all the things that they said that he has done and everything like that. But for him to just take that lady's money, right? Take that lady's hard-earned money and just go have a good time with it, man. Just go have a good time with the lady's money, man. Like what the, so, oh man, reading this almost, like I said, just wooed me to sleep, man. Am I logged out of page? Let me go back in. Yeah, I logged out. Yeah. So like I said, they go on and on and on here. Seriousness of the offense, conduct promoted to respect for law, provisions of just punishment. His lawyers really wrote up something for him here. So they really trying to fight to get him less time. So it says, in conclusion, we strive to strike a balance between the interests of society and the rights of the individual. Each case is different. Congress has made it clear that we are not to function as machines in purely technical terms. We respectfully ask this honorable court to see this defendant on individual terms, human terms, and sentence him accordingly. When the nature and character of Lamor Whitehead is taken into account, along with the sentencing factors, and the PSR to the degree is considered, it becomes evident that the sentence is it becomes evident that a sentence of supervised release is fitting for the seriousness of the crime and is also consistent with 18 USC 3553A, which calls for a sentence sufficient but not greater than necessary. Respectfully yours, Dawn M. Florio, Esquire. All right. To whom it may concern. Okay, they even have people writing in for Mr. Whitehead here. Damn, I thought this was over. I'm gonna have to read this now. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to read this. This people, they wrote letters for him. People wrote letters for him, folks. So I got to read it. I know it's already been read already. I believe Pam Esquire read it. I'm gonna have to go read it myself now. Let's see. All right, so it says, to whom it may concern, my name is Yvette Brignall, and I serve as a 9/11 World Trade Center rescue worker facing numerous medical challenges as a result. I have dedicated over 20 years of my life to serving our city. I am writing this letter in support of Bishop Whitehead. I have been following him on all his social media platforms because for many years I have been seeking a clear understanding of the Word of God. Due to my injuries from the World Trade Center, which left me with PTSD, I have struggled to find solace. When I listen to Bishop Whitehead words on Sunday mornings and to engage in worship throughout the week, it uplifts me and instills hope that everything will be all right. It deeply saddens me to hear that he is facing challenges, especially when we already have so many Black males incarcerated and separated from their family and loved ones. Let me stop there. Yeah, we do have a lot of people incarcerated and separated from their loved ones, but he should have thought about it before he took that money from that lady, man. He should have did the right thing about that money. She wanted that money to invest in whatever, and he took it and enjoyed it. See, what I'm saying is, yeah, there's a lot of people incarcerated, but you got to think, if you do the crime, you got to do the time sometime. But we'll see what the judge sentenced him to. But people, we can't forget that there was a victim here. We cannot forget that. That could have easily been me swindled out of 85,000, or whatever the amount was. That's a significant amount of money. Somebody saved that money. Just think about the victim for a second. She saved that money, and then she didn't give it to him. I believe her son or nephew, whatever, gave it to him with the hopes of flipping that money into real estate. And he went out there and enjoyed it. Think about the pain she went through, knowing that money is gone and she can't recuperate it. Hopefully she will be able to recuperate it at some point. But we have to think about the victims as well. I'm not trying to be harsh here, but we do. Because he should have thought about that. All right, so let's continue. Losing access to his messages, which often feel personally directed towards me, would not only be a loss for his family, but also for his parishioners who eagerly await the word of God on Sunday mornings. Thank you for allowing me to share this character letter, and I sincerely pray that God grants Bishop Whitehead the opportunity to continue guiding us closer to God's path without facing any jail time. Best regards, Yvette Brignall. All right, so we have another one. This was dated May 24th, 2024. To the Honorable Lorna Schofield. I am Anisha Glanton Ross. I am an educator and social worker, and I own my own child care center. I am writing this character letter on behalf of Bishop Lamor Whitehead. I have known Lamor as a friend for over 7 years. He has been nothing less than a helpful, kind human being. He has always given me encouraging words and extended his hand in helping in any way he can. He always felt um, as if he was judged because of his flashy dressing and his lifestyle, but his heart is pure as gold. I am glad I got a chance of witnessing his good works for myself and not judging him on the opinions of others. He would literally give you his flashy clothing and help anyone in any way he can. He never looked for anything from anyone. He his main goal was sharing the goodness of God and wanted everyone to know how much he loved Jesus. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly at, okay, I'm not going to say our number, and Anisha, okay? All right, who else we got here? Oops. Damn, I just, let me go back down here. Excuse me, I just exit out of it. Maybe that was a sign. I don't know. We'll go back. We'll find these letters, folks. That's what I'm looking for. We're going to find these letters again. Conclusion. Okay, here we go. To the Honorable Judge Lorna Schofield, my name is Gael. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name. And I have been a member of Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries under the leadership of Chief Apostle Bishop Lamor Miller Whitehead, for the last 5 years. As someone who has had the opportunity to watch Bishop throughout the years operate in his office as Bishop and now Chief Apostle, it pains me to see the scrutiny he endures day to day out in the eyes of the media and the world. The guilty verdict he received was not a representation of who this man of God is to his church, family, friends, and to the world. Many have questioned his character and his integrity of Bishop Lamor Whitehead on the basis of what has been presented. In this moment, I would love to share the impact that Chief Apostle has made and continues to make in my life and my family's life. Bishop has saved my children and eyes. Bishop has saved my children and eyes life and eyes. Bishop has saved my children and I with apostrophe S. I'm done. I'm done, yo. I'm done. Now I feel like I'm watching. Now I'm done. He has saved my children and eyes life and eyes, which mine is. Let me stop, man. I don't want to clown nobody. I don't want to clown nobody, man. I don't want to clown nobody, yo. That's just not my intent. That is not my intent to clown nobody. You hear what I'm saying to you? It is not my intent to do that. That I'm trying to. Let me show you something. Hold on. See if I'm wrong for this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. You see right here? You see that? It says Bishop has saved my children and eyes life. And eyes. I'm done, yo. I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't read it no more. In eyes life. Countless of times. Oh, yeah, in the eyes lie. In eyes. Oh, I know that sound petty. Then she said in John 4, chapter. No, I'm done. What else we got? Who wrote this? It says, Dear Honorable Judge Lorna Schofield, my name is Aaron Gani. The purpose of this letter is to inform you that I have been under the tutelage and shepherdship of Chief. I'm done. She has been under the tutelage and shepherdship. Nah, I'm done, yo. You don't need no shepherdships, man. You need to, everybody has, listen, my hat's crooked now. My hat's crooked, yo. I'm through, man. I'm through reading this. I'm through. I'm through and I'm tired. I'm through reading it. She said, my name is Aaron Ghani. The purpose of this letter is to inform me that I have been under the tutors. Listen, look at, you see it right there. The tutelage and shepherdship of Chief Apostle Bishop Lamor Whitehead since 2019 via his church, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries. I have been under the direct leadership since 2000. I can't read no more. I can't read no more, man. I'm tired. I can't read no more, man. All right. Let me just say this. You guys have written character letters, right? I understand you don't want him to do no significant time in prison. I understand that. But what about that lady's money? It's not right for him to just, okay, I got the money and I'm going to go spend it. Now she probably struggling. And then he get to just his sentence only for supervised release. And he get to go back to his plush living. No. That could have been my mother, man. And people, I'm going to tell you why it could be, because elderly, they often trust people like this. If God willing, I'm going to be elderly one day, right? And I don't want somebody like this to come along and use me and take my money, which is never going to happen unless I'm freaking senile. That's not happening. I'm like, get the hell out of here, man. I enjoy my own money and flip my own money. That's just what I would say to him. But what about the victim here? I'm not talking about the other guy. I know there's a couple victims here. I'm talking about that lady. That her money is gone. How is she gonna get her money back, man? What do you guys think about that? The people that wrote the character letters. What do you think about that lady? She ain't got her money. You thinking that's not true? She ain't got no more money. I understand why you guys writing a character letter. I get it. No, I'm not reading that one. The Honorable Lorna G. Scorefield, Thurgood Marshall, United States Courthouse. All right. Here's another character letter. My name is Stoldia Deceprin. I am writing this to provide a heartfelt character reference to Bishop Lamor Whitehead, the person I have had the pleasure of knowing for over 25 years. Throughout the years, I have consistently seen him embody the integrity, compassion, and profound dedication to his community. Bishop Whitehead is a leader who deeply cares about his congregation. All right, I'm done. I'm not reading it. I'm not reading this. I'm not reading it. Look, I don't know why I clicked on this, but anyway, that's how I'm looking. Hold up, this is the mood right here. This is how I'm looking, yo. When she said that. Listen, he deeply cares about his congregation. What about that lady's money, man? What about the lady's money? And I know what you guys are going to say. It's not true, Max. Well, he was convicted on it. I mean, there was sufficient evidence there for the jury to convict him on it. He's convicted. It's not alleged no more. That lady money is gone. Okay. What about her money? What about her money, man? How you think she felt knowing that she can't get her money back, yo? I had somebody recently try to scam me on eBay. I sent somebody a phone, right? And then they're going to come back and say they didn't get the phone, even though the tracking number said that they got it. and he gonna try to say he received the phone, he automatically want a refund, automatically. And let me just say this for eBay, when that happens, as long as you send it with a tracking number and it's on the site, which it is on the site, they side with the seller. Okay, so I'm okay now. But he automatically, hey, I want a refund. Okay, I didn't get it, even though it said it was delivered to your address, but I didn't get it. He trying to scam me because he automatically, how did he know that it may have delivered in another part of his house? But he just automatically requested for a refund. Bullshit. And he probably thought I was new to the game or whatever because I'm using a different account. So he's sitting up there trying to scam me. Now, what happens if eBay didn't have these policies in place, and I'd have been out of $300 and some, right? Because I got scammed. How do you think that feels when somebody get their money taken away from them? But luckily for me, as long as the tracking number and everything up there is, because when somebody purchased something from you on eBay, they automatically provide a tracking number. All I got to do is print out the print it out and then put it on the package and send it to the post office. And it's automatically on there that it was delivered. It says it. So as long as that's there, it protects me. See, I had protection. She didn't. That's my whole point. But how do you think that would have been a hurting feeling knowing that I would have been out of $300 and some? It's like getting robbed because I sent the phone and now I ain't got my money. So it's like getting robbed is a bad feeling, man. It really is. And taking advantage of people is not good. So I don't care what character, whatever y'all got going on here. You know what I'm saying? Think about that lady first. So what else we got here? Dear Honorable Judge Schofield, I am Vaughn Bruton. I am writing this letter to speak to the character of my friend, who I consider a brother, Bishop Lamor and Whitehead. Lamor is extremely passionate about serving God and uplifting his community. I'm done. Okay, so if he's extremely passionate about serving God and uplifting his community, where's that lady's money, man? Where is the lady's money, man? Where's the lady's money? I'm not reading no more of these character letters, man. Yeah, I'm not reading no more. We're done. But guys, that's it for now. He is asking a federal judge for a sentence of supervised release, so he can be released and under supervision or something, so he can go back and relaxing, because he also saying that the conditions in there are harsh. You see, let me say this again. People need to think, right? Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. People need to think before you do a crime. Like, all right, for example, I'm just using myself. Okay. It's early in the morning or early in the day. What if I go outside now, my house, and say, let me go out and rob somebody, right? Let me just rob somebody. Okay. Even though I'm helping the community out, let me go rob somebody for their belongings. And, oh, you know what? If I do that, I might get 5 to 10 years. I'll be away from my comforts of life, because that's what I call it. I built some comforts of life, right? And I'll be away from that. I can't be able to eat where I want to eat. The bed I'm going to sleep in is hard because they give you a mat. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to eat what I want because I'm gonna have to make spreads and eat the garbage in jail. It's going to be probably cold and damp in there, gray walls, and I'm not going to be able to sleep with my Yankee candles, my room smelling nice and good, or whatever the case is. I can't go out there and drive my car and just enjoy the day because I'm about to go make the decision to go rob somebody. Okay. Nobody thinks like that. Like, okay, yeah, I'm about to go rob somebody, but I might lose all of this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody thinks that way. Nobody thinks that way. But they're saying, according to these sentencing guidelines, don't sentence him to what you see there. Look at this as an individual basis. All right. I'm done, man. I'm done, but I'll be back. I'm done, but I'll be back. Guys, thank you for watching. Please give me a like right now. Please do that. Guys, listen to me. Because the algorithm is not liking me right now. And I got dinged again. Take this time, give me a like right now. Give a brother a like. Just hit the like button for me so we get this video out. And I greatly appreciate it. And this is a pre-recorded live, but I appreciate it, if you do that for me. And yeah. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. All that'll be greatly appreciated in advance. And I will come back and look, get me a lot of likes so I can go to the sentencing, because I'm gonna go. So I think about going to the sentencing. So I had said that before. So give me some likes, man. Do a brother a solid. All right, guys. I'll see you next video. Peace. And remember, oh, I like how them balloons came up. Do it again. Hold on. I'll only do it. That comes up, the light. Let's see if the peace thing come up again. No, it ain't. Oh, there it is. There it is. Like I said before, people don't think before they do their crimes, man. Let this be a lesson to young people. Think before you go out there and act. Before you think about doing a crime, going to rob somebody, damn, I may lose all my luxuries. That's a hurting feeling. I know he hurting up in there. Trust me, I do have compassion. I know he hurting. Because he used to, his Apple Watch and his little ring and all that. And he's sitting up there with government issue garb on. And the police don't give a damn. Up into the COs. That's what he's up against. And he said it's harsh conditions up there. People need to think, man. But guys, I digress. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.